So this is ZZ Top. Hi everyone. Continuing with our ZZ Top weekend. Today's song is Grange, and well, actually Vlad told me walking into the studio this morning, he said probably there are going to be quite a few people upset with the fact that we did a later ZZ Top, and they're going to say, hey, come on, ZZ Top is the 70s. Well, never fear. Today we are doing a song from 1973. So we've kind of switched it up this weekend. The later one first, the earlier one last. It all evens out in the end. I understand the initial groove of this song is based on a traditional boogie blues rhythm used by John Lee Hooker, who appeared in the Blues Brothers 1980 movie. And I have recently watched that movie, so I'm going to keep my ears out for that and see if maybe I recognize something familiar there. But before we listen to this song, I want to tell you about this video's sponsor, which is Aura, a data protection company. Even if we're careful about where and how we share our personal information, the risk of it ending up in the wrong hands is huge and growing as AI continues to develop. Just recently, a data breach at a United Health subsidiary exposed the personal and health data of over 190 million individuals. One of my goals for this year is to tighten up the edges of my own data security practices. So I've started using Aura. Aura monitors your personal data, including your social security number, across billions of data points like the dark web and public court records to alert you about potential identity theft. And in the unlikely case of something going wrong, provides up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. Plus, they offer a variety of other features to keep you safe online, including real-time alerts for data breaches, a VPN for secure browsing, data broker opt-out to stop companies from selling your personal information, a password manager to help you create and store strong passwords, and more. I feel much better knowing that I have Aura's well-respected system in place, and I feel good about recommending them to you. I encourage you to make this your year to fortify yourself as much as possible, too. If you don't already have a data protection service in place, I strongly encourage you to follow this link and make use of Aura's 2-week free trial. Now, let's ZZ Top.
Rumors spreading round that Texas town, like that shack outside the Grange, you know what I'm talking about. Just let me know if you wanna go to that home out on the range. They got a lot of nice girls there.
Okay, so of course, my first piece that I listened to yesterday, I did just the audio, as I like to do most often because it lets me focus purely on the music. Today, I'm doing the video because Vlad told me, look, their videos are just such a part of who they are, and it gives you more of an idea of the band's personality and style. And I have to say that, well, you saw me a moment ago closing my eyes for a minute just to hear the music without the video. But I also really enjoy this kind of black and white presentation. And as kind of quirky as their style is presentation-wise, it works. It works really well, and it becomes part of the humor of it. This little bit here that I was just listening to, it's funny listening to his voice. He's hardly singing. He's kind of talking way down here, you know? And I get the feeling that he's telling a dry joke sort of thing. Deadpan, no hint that it's funny. You know these types of people. You never can tell if they're fooling with you or not, if they're being funny, if they're telling a joke or not, because they do it in such a way that it all sounds the same, whether they're serious or telling a big joke. And I get the feeling that this is kind of meant to convey that sort of deadpan humor of, you don't know it, but I'm joking. But back to the voice. Okay, and the instruments. Deet, 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 deet. It's just a very simple little guitar and kind of a sparse setting for the opening. Just that deet, deet, deet. Not a lot of sound, just a little bit, and a few little bits of drums thrown in, and then this voice way down in the basement. And at first I was thinking, oh, okay, anybody could put that together, really, if you got the right. You could do kind of a cookie cutter repeat of that. But then it got to this point where suddenly what he was singing, and what the guitar was doing, and what the drums were doing, suddenly all came together and created this nice rhythmic interplay between all three parts. And that was when I closed my eyes and enjoyed the musical dynamic on its own. And I want to back up and listen to that, and it also sounded like it was just getting into something a little bit livelier. So
the Grange, you know what I'm talking about. But just let me know if you wanna go to that home out on the range. They got a lot of nice girls there.
Here. As it says, they've got a lot of nice girls there. Okay, getting stronger.
Here is fine if you've got the time and the time to get yourself in. Here is tight most every night, but now I might be mistaken.
Ooh, lively drums there. Okay, I like what's happening in the bass here too. Okay. Yes, back to his humor. This ha ha ha. Completely unenthusiastic, non-dynamic, just ha ha ha. You make of it what you will. But I like the way that the bass is now kind of taking over this rhythmic riff that the guitar was playing up until now. And it feels like the bass is kind of taking that over while the guitar does a little solo bit.
Hear
the bass here. Okay, the guitar steps back in for a minute. Now the guitar does listen to the bass. Yeah, so the bass has taken over the riff part of the piece. Not in the same way as the guitar, but it's the rhythm and the kind of shape of it. Dum bum 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 dum bum bum bum, and it's enough to make us keep feeling that sort of kind of rhythmic energy, rhythmic motion of the piece, which is not really forceful. It's not, in a way, it's a little bit, should I say it's kind of like his humor? It's not trying to jump up and be all excited, bum, bum, bum. It's just dee, 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 dee. And out of that, there develops this sort of intensity because it's conservative. there's a strange sort of weirdly classy element to their style, their presentation. Even this guitar solo, it's not something that screams at you and says, "Oh, look at me." And it's not because it's an uninteresting solo. It just is all kind of part of their their kind of reserve. And as I said, it's a weird sort of reserve or conservativeness, because clearly they've got humor and spark, but they're just packaging it in this certain way. And even this guitar solo is a reflection of that same aesthetic. Nice swing along. Are there trading parts there? Let me see. I'm not entirely sure. I can't really tell what's going on. I'm not sure if what I'm seeing them play is actually what I'm hearing. I don't know enough guitar for that. Moving down towards the bass, which is carrying the riff, towards the bass, moving kind of into the same lane. Or at least the same multi-lane highway. Really playing with this da 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 motif. Ooh. Okay. Let's back up in here, because that was a bit of a surprise. Just moving on. Traveling. Here it comes again. We never really lost it, because the bass was carrying it the whole time. Back to this idea of the dry humor and reserved aesthetic that I feel in the entire setup, not only musically, but also visually, also in their performance style. These breaks where the music is just halting. What I see them doing, it's almost like they're on a work site, a construction project. And, he's directing, he just points, like, put that bag of sand over there. Stop the crane. That's far enough. It's that sort of very ordinary kind of working man's attitude and not serious in, oh, this is really important work, more like just serious because I'm going about my daily activities as I always do. And I find it kind of amusing to see that as being their style of even communicating on stage. A little bit there. Every once in a while, I see them getting a little bit more animated. Crack of a smile here, a little bit of physical movement, but it's all about just, I don't know. I guess I would say this is meant to appeal, or at least to express a sort of ordinary working man's world, perhaps. At the same time, to dress it up kind of nice and classic, because even people who are working on the construction site all day, they do like to get dressed up in suits and hats from time to time, right? And so this is sort of a cleaned up version of the construction site in a way. and it's so interesting. It's all part of their personality and style, and the musical dynamic as well. This is what I'm hearing in the music too, is this conservatism. It's not being really bombastic. It's not being, even as I'm thinking, okay, in my whole Beatles project, and the really obvious humor and jabs and sarcasm and irony and playfulness that comes through in the Beatles music. This is not that at all. What comes through here, you have to pay attention if you're going to catch any humor at all. But believe me, it's there. Yeah, see, just over there. And back to work. Even the drummer's attitude is just sitting there. Okay, they're kind of almost even talking to each other. And the music also feels kind of like, oh, let's play together a little bit. I guess the thing I love about it. Pointing. I guess the thing that I love about this, that is really, the thing that I find most attractive about this, is this attitude of classic, without being formal or rigid. And I hear it in the music, and the music is really quite simple. We have this riff, which is constantly going. It's either in the bass or it's in the guitar. And, well, I have to also confess a little bit of ignorance here as far as bass and guitar. What I see in the video, to me, well, I haven't been looking like really in detail, but the guitars look identical. They look like twins. I'm not sure that one of them is a bass, which makes me wonder, okay, where's the bass? But if one of them is the bass, okay, then we've got everybody on screen. But if this is two guitars sharing, that's another possibility, which kind of the way they're interacting makes me feel like they are kind of passing the music between. But I'm not entirely sure. Regardless, and actually, maybe some of you can enlighten me on that. What is it? Am I seeing a bass and a guitar, or am I seeing two guitars and the bass is off camera? I don't know. But what I really enjoy about this is hearing and seeing this aesthetic of, classically inspired, meaning classic rock. But not rigidly, not formally, not trying to really be what came before. Also not really trying to be groundbreaking or innovative. They're just out doing what they love to do and what they do every day and what they're good at. And passing the music back and forth between them. I see them nodding, talking, gesturing, and the music flows uninterrupted in this improvisatory manner, very much like what I would expect to hear if several music playing buddies got together and said, hey, let's just get together for an evening, and they pick a little riff and they start passing it around among and between them and just relaxed and enjoying, not trying to be all brilliant, but just enjoy making music together. That's the kind of sound I hear in this song. See, now they're both playing together. They're like, yeah, this is working pretty well. All right, I really am so curious about these. I need to stop it and look. I mean, as far as I can see, well, maybe actually the one on the left, his guitar is maybe that might be. He might have bass guitar, actually, now that I stop and look at the details. I suspect the one on the left is playing the bass and the one on the right is playing guitar. Just a guess. Which would explain why I don't really hear. Okay, so that's how it ends. All right, let's just watch that ending again and then I'll finish talking. Is kind of fun in its own sweet, gentle way. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed having the music video there to watch as well. So to complete my thought, if there is one bass and one guitar, that explains sonically why I don't really hear two guitars. I hear bass and guitar, and the communication they have going is between the bass and guitar, not between two partnering, duetting instruments, same instruments, like two duetting guitars plus bass. So I think I'm right about that. But as you know, I haven't spent a lot of time looking at these instruments because most of what I do is simply listening to them. So it's actually really quite educational for me to see a video like this, which doesn't have a lot of rapidly changing imagery and really lets me look and see the instruments and what's happening, how the instruments are working as well. So that was a nice part of this whole thing as well. So this is ZZ Top. And I guess I got to get paid Lagrange or reverse Lagrange, then I got to get paid, depending on whether you're doing it chronologically or in the order I've listened to them. I hear in both of them this sort of funniness, this sort of humor. I guess I got to get paid made me roll my eyes a lot more, just because it was much more obviously pushing for that humorous element. But here today also, that is what I feel about the music. This understated, subtle, gentle humor, really. Gentle humor. And easy, relaxed way of relating to the music. And that's my introduction to them. And I guess I'll be coming back to them from time to time because they gave a nice sort of refreshing, in a way, experience. Funny, a different kind of funny, and at the same time, nice to listen to. So, a fun weekend, educational, entertaining, and all around rewarding. I'll see you next time with my next first listen.